Hello everyone, and today we are taking a look at War for the Overworld. Bit of interesting backstory about this game as I found out, and it's really what kind of got me interested in trying it out, is that this game is a spiritual successor to a game series from long ago known as Dungeon Keeper. It was a very interesting type of game, and I believe there was the first and second, and then there was a mobile version, which I've heard was absolutely terrible. And then another game just never happened until this game kind of popped up, where it was kind of being shown that it was basically the spiritual successor to this series. And it really didn't. They were trying to get a Kickstarter going to get this game up and running and funded because, well, this kind of genre and game is not exactly desired by the market anymore these days. However, a very notable person on our side of the fence helped get notoriety for this and helped actually participate as a funder for this on the Kickstarter, which he did admit may have caused, you could say, cause a bit of partial bias interest in his impressions of it, since he was a funder and he wanted to make people aware of that. I'm, of course, referring to the late Totalbiscuit. He had spoken from time to time about how much he loved the Dungeon Keeper series. In fact, I will be linking a couple of videos that he made about, one is about Dungeon Keeper 2, and the other will be about his WTF Is video on this game here. And if you don't believe me about that, there's actually a thing here called the Cynical Imp, which was, I believe, part of a charity fundraiser involved with this, and some achievements and unlockables and such for this game. So he did have a hand in helping fund this. In fact, the developers actually showed that when they were, in a page I saw where they were paying honor to him after he passed away from his battle with cancer, they showed how when he made his video promoting the Kickstarter for this game, their funding went crazy high. Like, it was on a steady, incline, going up. But once he made his video, they got much more funding after that. So him, along with some other people as well, like his buddy Jesse Cox, made videos about this game. And it got me interested in trying it out because it looked fun. And it is actually quite fun. And quite entertaining and humorous, because the announcer for this game, who gets to kind of play along with you, he's kind of the narrator and the tutorial guy, but he's also kind of his own separate character. It's interesting, the way this game is, and I highly recommend. Again, I'll be linking the videos in the description below. Check those out if you want some more in-depth looks, courtesy of Totalbiscuit himself, on both this game as well as Dungeon Keeper 2, and how it's basically an almost identical in terms of gameplay, and why they call it a spiritual successor. So to kind of give you an idea of what this game is like, let's go into the single player. Now, this game has been out for several years now, so they have some DLC that has come out since then. I haven't even beat the main campaign yet, because it does get a little tough, and at least if you don't know what exactly you're doing, which I've kind of been stumbling through it, so we're just kind of going to do a couple of the first missions here, just to kind of start things off. Yeah, I believe this is the first one here. Oberon's Realm.
I've been looking for someone to spearhead my campaign. But before we get stuck in, let's refresh that old mind of yours.
I'm telling you, I love this narrator, this announcer, this voice actor is wonderful. He doesn't necessarily add atmosphere like the narrator from Darkest Dungeon does. He's just, very entertaining. He has a lot of hilarious lines. There's things he says are absolutely hysterical. Like, one of the lines that's my absolute favorites, and Jesse Cox showed this in his video, where he was taking a bit too long on a mission, and he said, "I floated in the abyss for countless millennia, and even that was more entertaining than watching you." Which, for those of us making these videos, it's kind of like a, kind of funny comment in that regard. So anyways, This is a great way to kind of get you introduced to how the game works from a gameplay standpoint.
Welcome back, Underlord. It's been a long time since you were banished to the ether. You've returned as a husk of your former self, but I've taught far denser Underlords than you. Let's start with the basics. This is your dungeon core, the tether that allows you to manifest your malignant will. If destroyed, your consciousness will once again be scattered to the void. Your workers are an extension of your dark will. They have many jobs, but their main focus is in carving out the halls of your dungeon. Put them to work by clicking and dragging your cursor upon the flashing tiles to tag them for excavation. Your workers will now rush forth to dig out and claim the tagged area. Once they have laid down the
left click on that,
marking the ground as your own, you will be able to build rooms upon the finished tiles. While your lackeys get to work, look to the east of your dungeon core. This is a gateway, one of the many portals that you'll use to attract minions to your dungeon. Order your workers to dig a path to it now.
I want to talk, but I also want to let this narrator do his thing, because he's wonderful. I love him.
Now that you have a gateway, minions can enter into your service. But first, you'll need to build the rooms necessary to entice them in. Start by building a barracks. This room will allow your minions to hone their combat skills without the risk of permanent death or disfigurement. Select it and build it by clicking and dragging your hand across the claimed tiles. Most rooms must be built at least 3 by 3 in order to function properly, though the lair and vault are effective at any size.
So yeah, you click this, and then you can be able to drag it in order to make the room.
A gnarling has entered your dungeon. Attracted by the barracks, these green-skinned scrappers aren't quite right in the head, and they'll happily hack at your foes until someone is dead. Outside of combat, gnarlings will train themselves within your barracks. You can pick them up with a click if you find them slouching off, then deposit them anywhere within your dungeon with a right click. For further entertainment, you can always put yourself directly into their head by casting possession upon them. A gnarling has entered your dungeon. Don't worry, Underlord. You'll soon get used to this. Now you can control your minions' movement with the W, A, S, and D keys, and change their unique quickbar abilities using the number keys. Left-click to use their current ability. Push the escape key to end possession. You can increase the efficiency of props within your rooms by fortifying the walls closest to the props. Workers will fortify walls automatically when they've completed all their other tasks. Now that you have some minions, you will need to cater for their basic needs. First, build a lair, so the pitiful little meat sacks can get some rest.
The pitiful little meat sacks. So yeah, if you can't tell by now, one of the main objectives here is you are trying to build one of the best possible dungeons that you can be able to make, so that you can be able to deal with any forces that come into your dungeon. So that way you can be able to just be able to combat it and deal with it. In case you probably haven't figured it out, we're not exactly the good guy in this. And this was actually one of the drawing things about Dungeon Keeper back in the day, was that you weren't playing as the good guy. You were basically playing as one of the villains, though, let's be honest, this is much more of a comical take on it, especially with the way the narrator is playing it up. But the idea here is, you know, that our dungeon is that we are not exactly the good guys here. Always try and get them to get as much gold as possible. Alright, let's just add that there. Ooh, hello. I just realized I built an extra barracks. That's okay. In fact, I believe there is a way to undo that. That's how you can keep track of your minions. That's just the menu. Ah, sell rooms, yes. There we go, sell that. So that's how you undo that if you made a mistake with a room and just whoop. There we go.
Well done. But see how your gold reserves have been depleted. Command your workers to mine some of the nearby gold by tagging the gleaming tiles. They collect and return gold to your dungeon coffers, allowing you to spend it on whatever your dark heart desires. Your core can store up to 16,000 gold pieces. But if that number sounds pitifully small, or if wealth inspires the evil in you, simply build a vault to store more. Now that you've got a bit of coin in your pocket, you can build a slaughter pan. This room produces scores of micro-piglets, a delicacy that will sustain the weak flesh of your minions by filling their bellies with succulent pig flesh.
Succulent pig flesh. You see what I mean? I just love the way the announcer does his job in this game. I think he's wonderful. So yeah, it will usually be kind of a priority system for the workers, for them to determine when they're going to clear out certain tiles that you tag to get mined away. Then you have to wait for them to claim the spaces there with tiles, so that way you can use those tiles in order to make the rooms. Other than, yeah, so the Gnarlings keep entering the dungeon. You can tell if they're happy, if they're fed, if they've been paid.
Cast Rally upon these spectres, and your minions will immediately sally forth to wreak bloody havoc.
Wait, where are they? Oh, there!
The core is taking damage.
So you put that there, and they will head straight there to try and attack any enemies in sight.
Well done. Now finish off the rest of these manifestations with a second rally flag. Your Gnarlings made short work of those spectres, but see how they still circle the flag. You can dismiss rally flags by slapping them with a right click. This should allow your minions to return to their jobs and tend their needs in a timely fashion. You can cast
So they can just slap it away.
to immediately return them to your dungeon. Though if they are attacked as it channels, then the spell will fizzle into nothing.
What? Hey.
You're on a roll, Underlord. And I've been waiting far too long to begin my war for the Overworld. Let us enter the realm of Kairos and continue your retraining against a more fitting enemy. Well done, Underlord. I see it's all coming back quite quickly. I expected nothing less, but there's much still to learn. Why don't we work in a bit of murder while we're at it? It's time for you to enter the realm of Kairos.
So yeah, a very tutorial type of start. So next one is also kind of a tutorial as well.
Challenge. Before you lies an Imperial keep, guarded by a certain Lord Rusimov. He had a bit of an accident that melted most of his face, but he's no less vigilant a soldier. He's been sent to guard an object that could threaten our campaign. Get in there and burn the rest of him, Underlord. We've punctured the veil of this world through a schism, a point of weakness in the bonds between realms. Unfortunately for us, the Empire has crafted defenses to keep us from the heart of their kingdom. These inhibitors prevent Underlords from trespass, but whether it's bone or stone, it can be broken. I suspect that this Empire force has yet to taste true battle. But before you go engaging them, you'll need to muster up some minions. Unfortunately for me, your time in the ether has left you a weak husk of your former self. In order to reacquire your powers, you will need to access the veins of evil. Open them now, and use a sin to unlock
the veins of evil. So yeah, this is one of your talent trees where you'll be able to unlock various different rooms and abilities. We'll be able to unlock a new room called the Archive.
Archive unlocked. This room will allow your minions to research additional sins, which can be spent to recover your lost powers. Build one now to begin researching additional sins.
So first I'm going to make sure I need to clear out some of these spaces. Can't really bother with the gold right now since I'm already at full gold. I could, extend room for a vault, but,
To have your workers prioritize objectives in a specific area, place a worker rally banner in that location. Build an archive, Underlord. Your forgotten powers are far more impressive than those you currently wield.
So yeah, now they go over here and they're like, okay, we'll clean the tiles for you, boss.
You need a larger vault.
You need a larger vault.
A cultist has found its way into your dungeon. Attracted by the magical tomes within your archive, these minions will spend most of their time researching sins for you. Though they are weak combatants, they have the power to curse your foes, making them weak to your other minions' blows. Your minions are unfortunate beings of weak flesh. Build them a lair so they may rest.
Are you rhyming on purpose, or are you just doing that by accident?
Dungeon.
So you can actually extend these rooms. So if you don't like having it just be that space, you can do this if you want.
You've claimed a perception shrine.
Huh. How about now? I know, I'll make a lair in a moment.
You cannot store more gold.
Ah, this is the shrine over here. So yeah, that's the objective over there. So we're going to have to be careful because they actually can make their way towards our own dungeon. That right there is the objective. But we can fight our way through there once we get our rooms and forces up and running. But yeah, once you clear that, your minions will go in here and be like, oh, unclaimed tiles. Let's start claiming those.
A hungry minion can always find work elsewhere. Build a slaughter pen before your minions starve.
Good morning, Underlord.
Good morning, minions. Alright, let's get it. Try and make some room so we can make a slaughterhouse. Gotta have to feed my minions. We'll put it next to the lair where they sleep. It's like, oh, good morning, minions. Breakfast is right over here next door. Hurry up, workers.
You need a larger vault.
I am here.
Alright, now they're claiming the tiles.
Your cultists have worked hard to earn a new sin. Use it within the veins of evil to unlock the tavern. This room provides your minions with succulent cooked pig flesh and stout ales. After eating a meal within its hearthed halls, their spirits will be raised, increasing their productivity for a short time. The tavern is an essential room for keeping your minions fed. As they increase in level, they will eventually rebel if there is no tavern to sate their hunger. Build one now, and remember that the tavern is unique and must be built at least 3 by 5 in order to be effective.
That's exactly why I cleared that.
How completely evil. Well, not really.
You'll still need a slaughter pen in order to keep your tavern stocked. But in a pinch, you can always drop some alternative meat into the grinder. Rooms will only attract a certain number of minions before becoming full. In order to attract more, you will need to expand them.
Should get a barracks up.
Nothing in this life is free, Underlord, and you'll regularly need to pay your minions for their hard work. Be sure to keep an eye on your reserves, for if you've not enough gold for their wages, they'll be swift to find gainful employment elsewhere. Fortunately, your minions will return some of their earnings by buying meals within your own tavern. What a delicious arrangement.
It is funny that as an evil underlord, that you still have to pay your minions. It kind of reminds me of the funny little interactions between the Overlord and the minions in the Overlord games, for those of you who actually played those.
Something evil stirs out there. Scouts, go find what the hell's making all that racket.
Rally your minions to defeat these scouts once they breach your dungeon. Let's keep Sarusimov in the dark a little while longer. You should try using the lightning and heal spells to assist your minions in combat.
So let's see if they are actually going to start... Yep. They're clearing their way right over here.
The health of minions is represented by petals surrounding their unit shield. Once no petals remain, a creature will fall unconscious and soon die, unless returned to its lair to recover. To have your minions ignore rally flags and remain focused on their current objectives, you can assign them to the Peace Band.
They should be back by now. Ugh. Bar the doors. We wait for reinforcements.
Look how easily your minions cut down these sappers. If I didn't know better, I'd say the Empire is woefully unprepared. Once minions are rested, you can leave them to their work or force them to train by dropping them in a barracks.
Just going to extend these rooms a bit. So as you can see, there's certain types of, places on the map you can't clear out. So you only have so much space sometimes, so... Yes, I know about that ability.
If you don't...
So, like, for some of these spaces, I'm just going to go ahead and...
But at least vocalize it, Underlord.
Evil never sleeps.
See, he's getting irritated that I'm not doing much. He's like, look, if you're not going to do anything, you could at least vocalize it. I'm basically extending these so I can get more troops in here.
Alluring, isn't it?
I can make some additional... See, you only have so many right now. When you get into later levels in the campaign, you will unlock more rooms, different kinds of units, so you can be able to, like, have at least one of every room if that's what you want. It is worth noting, of course, as you've been seeing, the bigger the room of such, then the more of those kinds of units you'll have. So because I extended the barracks and the archives, I now have 7 cultists and 6 gnarlings. And that's basically my army. But don't worry, there's more variety with more rooms, more different kinds of units for you to be able to add if you want to do that, so... Not really a concern if you're like, oh, is that all you get? No, trust me. You can get more. But remember, this is early on where it's just basically teaching you how to play the game and how it works and functions, so... By the way, yes, you can actually drop your troops in the grinder. There we go. I guess we can extend the layer as well. not, yeah, lair. There we go. Not quite. It's a very awkward lair.
I'll fill you with poison. Delectable. Why won't you?
You start looking for, is there any other place I can try to extend? Probably these spots right here. Look at this, my workers are starting to actually move in here and start to claim these for themselves, which is probably not a great idea. Because then these guys will actually attack my workers. They're like, ah, run away!
Power nap as much as the next dark god. But could you finish the job?
See what I mean? He's taunting me to finish it because he's getting bored. Oh. Oh. What are you finding, my minion?
If any of your minions
A secret,
fall in
perhaps?
combat, your workers will attempt to rescue them and return them to their lair, where they may rest and recover.
The enemy have breached the damn walls.
I found it, and I got an achievement. Yes. Wonderful. So these are artifacts, and they can provide some certain kinds of really cool buffs or abilities and such. It's really cool to see them at work, to be able to find them. It's like, oh, what does this do? And so, of course, when you have your archives and you have you guys over here, they'll get to work on actually working on it. So my cultists were over there, but now they're going to come back and they're going to find this and be like, oh, let's get to work on this.
What the?
You, get to work on that. Oh, well, of course, my lord. So yeah, we just kind of have to, I just want to wait and let that finish up. But yeah, you can see my workers, they'll just keep going. They'll just be like, oh, let's go ahead and just keep on going through here.
I never get hungry.
Claiming these for our master. I could claim some of the rest of these, but this way it's a little bit more of a harder way for them to attack when we've got such a smaller, narrow tunnel here as opposed to just this big area where they're like, oh, maybe we can spread out, you know? Though it is funny that my workers are just kind of going through here, claiming these tiles in this area. At least up to the gates here. Then they'll stop.
Your vault is brimming, Underlord. It is payday.
So yeah, you'll notice, oh, it's payday, that you're going to lose that much of your gold, so your minions could get upset and such, so... But yeah, that was actually an achievement to be able to actually find that artifact on this, and I tried it last time, I couldn't find it, and then I just followed this little path here, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, there it is! So this will give me an opportunity to show you guys what artifacts actually do, and you'll find more of these as you continue through the campaign, and some of them can be pretty cool. So, like, I know one that gives you ghost workers, where you'll be able to have workers that just keep on working, but they really can't be hurt or harmed because they're ghosts, as opposed to these little goblin guys that can get attacked and killed. So you have to be careful, and you gotta take care of your workers, you know? You can also be able to use spells later on that will allow you to be able to summon more of them.
Gold. Activate it to bestow a large amount of gold to your vaults. Prophecy unlocked.
Right, so see, gives me 25,000 gold to my vault. Boom! That's what one of those artifacts can do. So yeah, pretty cool. One of those various different kinds of cool bonuses that you can get in these kind of maps. So now let's go ahead and, what do you guys say we go ahead and try to win this? Just put a rally flag there and just watch my minions just go straight there to try and take it down. They've got all my gnarlings who are over here working in the barracks. All my cultists who are researching, they're now going to go help out the gnarlings. Not necessarily do damage themselves, but as you heard the narrator say, provide curses against the enemy units and such, so... They'll automatically just try and take down these gates to fight their way to where the rally flag is, fight other enemy units that are along the way. So you see, they immediately just start attacking the gate here. Look at all this gold that we can claim for ourselves. By the way, you can't use your spells on enemies in this portion here because they're not on your tile. They are in the enemy dungeon. You have to have them in your dungeon to use spells against them. So let's just go ahead and get into this room here, just in case there are other enemy units and such. We don't want any unexpected reinforcements to aid the core over here. Well, it looks like there isn't, but that's okay. Go!
The light is gone. Kira, I am extinguished.
It seems almost charitable to put him out of his misery.
Yeah, not much of a reason to attack the rest of that. Just gotta destroy the core and you win.
Underlord, you're learning much faster this time. We've barely even started, and you already have a notch on your belt. Well done, Underlord. But there's no rest for the wicked. 2 inhibitors still stand between us and the mainland. But after your butchery of poor Lord Rusimov, I doubt they'll be as weakly defended.
So yeah, that's should be a good enough look at War for the Overworld. I hope that piques your interest in case you're curious. I think it's a pretty nice, fun, and entertaining game that was from a Kickstarter. Those are also, usually pretty nice, especially since that Totalbiscuit himself endorsed this because of how much Dungeon Keeper meant to him growing up. And I encourage you to go ahead and pick it up or check out other videos. Feel free to check out the videos I linked in the description below that was made by Totalbiscuit himself about both this game and Dungeon Keeper 2 if you want to see the similarities between the two and hear him talk about both games. Feel free to check those out and take a look at whether or not you want to pick this game up. I don't believe it's that expensive. Just kind of toss it into your wish list and wait for that email that says it's going on sale. Plus, it does have a few bits of DLC in case you want to take a look at those. That adds a couple more campaigns and such. So, highly encourage checking it out, and I will see you guys next time.